Yeah, I think we're good to go. Okay, let me just get rid of this. Probably don't need this. What we need is the Dow. Hey, good morning, America. Hope you're well. Sorry that you got booted out of the World Cup. Look at the bright side. Denmark didn't even qualify. How's that for? Hey, Andy's just written something to me. Okay, Andy's just being rude. Ignore him. He's just a grumpy German man. Me, I'm a placid, docile Dane. I never get angry. Ever. I'm as calm as a breeze. Excuse me. So, whoops. Seems as if we got 32 seconds left to get this espresso going. So what do we got here? We got, there we go. Long position here, perhaps. Yeah, let's try that. I should also have a short order, but I don't think I got time to implement it. So here we go. We are live. And the market is falling. At least for now. Let me just see if the espresso in the opposite direction. Yes, it would have triggered. So my FTSE position is looking better from this morning, ladies and gentlemen. And my DAX, well, that was just one I did for myself. Pooh. I need the NASDAQ. Do you know what? I've been sitting here on my butt trading ever since I left you for the EU Open. And my butt hurts. And I completely forgot about stop losses. I'll delete this espresso. Okay, so hey, America, good morning and welcome. How are you? I hope you're well. Hope that you're not too upset about about being kicked out of the World Cup. But I hear that there's some mail votes that have come in, and actually your red cards have been rescinded, and your attempts at goal has been stated as goals. So you actually won 5-4. Well done. You must be the first country in the world that had a red card rescinded. I want to buy the NASDAQ, just pure and simple, want to buy it. And I really urge both of us to apply the espresso strategy to the NASDAQ. Okay. So I have a PowerPoint presentation. If you are that way inclined, I just wanted to show you. I wanted to show you because I think it's important for our training is what to do when bar 1 and bar 2 is negative and the bar 2 is an inside bar. I provided there's 55 occurrences in the last 8 years where this has happened. And I think it's a fairly conclusive document in how to trade it, which is extreme caution, basically, because it's range bound. But you can take a gander yourself on go to Trader Tom's Telegram channel. Yeah, so I have been a busy bee. Wow, now I'm losing again. Damn. But I just actually get that chart up. NASDAQ itself on a daily chart is range bound. But NASDAQ might be range bound, but the ranges are still worth trading. And the price behavior that we're seeing this morning will suggest, well, I'm not even going to say it because, of course, it's a gap fill because it's right there. But it just suggests the momentum is on the upside. And if you do go to the daily chart, you'll see that we are knocking up against yesterday's high. However, yesterday's range was about 600 points, about 550, and so far, and that's with the overnight range. And the previous day, it was similar. And so, fair to say that so early in the session, we have a range so far, which is only about a third of previous day's ranges. FTSE is playing me for a pickle. But yeah, I didn't have a very good session. My God, I've been trading quite a lot. It was such an incredibly range-bound market, but frustrating. And then all of a sudden, a couple of hours ago, there was a huge spike in everything in Europe. It happened approximately an hour and 20 minutes ago. I am developing a new screen look that will enable me to show two charts at the same time. I think that could be beneficial for us. I don't suppose you can see what the FTSE is doing. I'm happy to show you. That's what it's doing. So what we're looking at now is a first bar negative in the Dow and second bar positive. And the second bar is an inside bar. Sorry, actually I did that the wrong way out. First bar negative, second bar positive, and an inside bar. And you know what we could couple it with? We could say, well, it's a Friday, so it's happened 28 times. So I'm happy to show you. First bar negative, second bar positive, 5-minute chart. Currently the third 5-minute is trading within the range of the second. NASDAQ is also reversing. Lucky I didn't buy. Good for me. Just waited. So this is a historical database of the Dow being first bar negative, second bar positive. So what we could do is look at it again from the beginning, but this time look at it on a 15-minute bar and then say, should we trade it as a school run? Here, yes. No. maybe. No. Yes. No. No. Yeah, maybe. Well, you see how it fakes you in there long. So maybe. Definitely no. Although it does run up on bar 3. Yeah, I suppose. But you don't have to be in a rush. Definitely no. There's a lot of no's so far. Yeah. Lots of no's. So that kind of constellation doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get an explosive move. That one was okay. But do you see how it actually triggers you long up there? So no. Triggers you short, goes back into the range. Nope. Lots of nopes. Lots and lots of nopes. Yes, maybe. But don't overstay your welcome. No. Well, maybe, but yes. Yes. Definitely no. Yeah. How many have we got left? That's it. Just to let you know that I've added a little bit in my FTSE position just now. See that? Just now. Bought at 499. Basically 1 point in profit. Just betting on the FTSE breaking out of the trading range, but in a much smaller size. So far, 4 bars in, we are in a range-bound market with bar 2 being an inside bar positive, but with no follow-through. So we got bearish sentiment 1, bullish sentiment 2, bearish sentiment 3, halfway through decide, actually we want to be a little bit more bullish, still close with a bear bar. This is a good old trading range, and already by bar 2, we get a sense of that. NASDAQ, on the other hand, not saying that it's any different, but it certainly looks like a stronger bounce on bar 4 than we're seeing displayed in the Dow. Quite like to be a buyer of strength. But if I buy here, I'm sort of giving up a whole lot of advantage. I got a 137 point range already. And so not entirely convinced that I have an edge here. We can look at it on a 1 minute chart. We've gone up, we've gone down. This looks quite final. The retracements have been shallow. In fact, there isn't really much pricing structure yet. You've just gone up, and then you've gone down, and then you've gone up again. Stand by for a long position in the NASDAQ. Buying the NASDAQ here, and miraculously already 15 points offside. In the FTSE, just want to tell you that I want to add a little bit more. I know we're right at the highs. I'm just adding a bit more. Sorry about the noise. There's a building site outside my office. Adding to the NASDAQ. It's like somebody didn't want to turn off their alarm clock, huh? Do you know that David Paul never saw me trade this way? I think he would be proud. I think he would have been inspired by it, that he was the result of this. Or he might say, bloody hell, Tom, I didn't ask you to take this much risk. Yeah, sorry about that. Just had a disruption here. I'm going to ease off on the second entry. I closed the second entry. Sorry, I was muted. So we're coming up to school run shortly, but as you can I don't know if you can hear it, but I can really hear it when the cranes are. You hear that? Shut up! Let me answer some questions. There's no background noise. Can hear you clearly. Great. Andy is saying you're totally talking that up. Well, I don't know what that means. Right. But he's laughing, so all is good. Travis is saying, good to hear your voice again. Travis, good to hear you. Shut up! Prince is saying, why is your take on initial... What? Man, look. I'm just... I want to help. But what does this mean? Why is your take on the initial balance trading strategy? Are there any specific reasons you don't trade that? What? What's the initial balance? And why do you start with a why? Shouldn't it be, what is your take on the initial balance trading? Are you in such a rush that you just type anything? It just doesn't deserve an answer. I'm not going to answer. Whatever. You reach out to me, just at least have the courtesy of making an effort to review the question before you just smack it on the keyboard. Right. You sound crazy yelling shut up mid-sentence. Yeah, I know, right? If I just keep messaging this, will it get through instead of email? I don't know. I don't know what you have, if you've asked me something. I have been sent a email. You probably think I make this up, but this is a message I have been sent a email. Okay. And probably better I just Beate is saying, hi Tom, good to hear you again. I can hear the frustration in your voice. Did you consider hiring a moderator? Fuck no, I don't want a moderator. I just want people to be decent human beings and actually, perhaps use a Google Translate and perhaps also explain their questions a little better. You want to be professional traders. You want to make it in this, but you're too lazy to type a question properly. That doesn't bode well for you. I have been sent email. Or why is your take on the initial balance? What? Okay, Wholesome is saying they call the first hour of market initial balance and then trade pullbacks to the area where if there is strength. I think that's what he's talking about. Okay, so this is Wholesome. He's saying they call the first hour of market initial balance. All right, I've never heard of it, but hey, I've only traded for a couple of decades. And then trade pullbacks to that area if there is strength. Well, you won't really know if there's strength until afterwards, will you? I think that's what he's talking about. About. I suppose it should say about. Now I don't want a moderator. What is the moderator going to do? Just like filter out the questions. Why don't you just think carefully about what you want to ask me, then type it, and then read your message before you hit send? So we got a second bar negative inside bar. This is not boding well for our trading environment today. You know that? It really isn't. FTSE was diving a little bit and now we're back up. Beate says, you can't change people. Yeah, you can. You can absolutely change people, or people can change themselves. The will to act and the will to change is residing deep within us. The question is not whether we can change. The question is, will you change? I'll answer questions later. Let's Okay, so one of my friends has sent me this message. Tom, what is that what and why if done so? Would you do that thing you say why and so? What the heck? I think they must be. I think they're clearly taking the mick. You should really see this. It's actually quite funny. Market is certainly taking its. So I got this message here, which I actually think is quite humorous. Let's see if I can find it. So here we go. Tom, what is that, what, and why? If done so, would you do that thing you say why and so? Yeah, that pretty much sums up some of the questions I get. And now the FTSE is backing down again. Unusual trading environment for Friday. Maybe they're just left New York, wherever they trade, early, go for the weekend. Lots of indecision. What we're looking at is a 30-minute chart, and well, hey, your eyesight is as good as mine. You can see we're at the top end of the range. Yeah, we're contending with the overnight session. We touched the overnight session, and no one is really keen on pushing beyond. Okay, Prince is trying again. All right, the initial balance is basically the price range created in the first hour of the trading session, and then you can either trade a failed auction. What's a failed auction setup? What's a failed auction? A failed auction is when price pokes above or below the IB level and then close back in. Well, isn't that just a fishing technique? What's you smell like somebody who's been trained in a vocabulary that sounds good, but you might as well just express it like we go above the old high, and it failed to gain any traction. Yeah, it's like all gear but no idea. So what would I do? Well, look, it's not like there's going to be a big old billboard at the side of the road saying this breakout will work and this breakout will fail. We know that half the time we're going to be in a trading range, and the other half we're going to be in a trending mode. So take your chances. Do the very best you can to define a strategy that works well with you. I think what perhaps bothers me most is how many YouTubers are trading on somewhat after the fact prices, or somehow they narrate a chart that has already been. Of course, they're going to come across as saints. They're going to come across as wide old sage that knows everything. But it's just not how, you're not doing yourself a favor if that's how you train, because your mind is seeking answers that there are none to. You think, oh well, this guy here, he clearly showed it on a video, so now I should be able to do that as well. Well, you really can't. So you need to take your chances and roll with it, and need to learn to lose. I can't express it any differently. It's a bit like those who are doing trading courses and video courses, but they're doing it on the finished chart. Like, you see the answers in front of you, and then you somehow, create this professor-like narrative. Oh yeah, it's a wedge there and free failing tops and etc., etc. But you're not doing the students any favors, because all you're doing is explaining what everybody can already see. And miraculously, if the chart looks differently, all of a sudden it's a different narrative. The amount of times that I have looked at wedges that didn't result in a reversal. So I'm not a crazy huge fan of trying to invent a new language just because that somehow gives me an idea of what's going on. And I'm really not crazy about this mountain of YouTube evidence that is merely somehow being manipulated or going over charts that already happened, so they know exactly what's going on. The abilities from an IT point of view to make it look credible is just astounding. And there's so many people that are new to this honest profession, this really tough, but damn, it's an exciting business to be in. They think that somehow they should be like these people that never ever make a mistake. Like one of my friends, he showed me a guy called Trader Bob. It's probably not Trader Bob, but Trader Bob never ever loses, ever. He has a YouTube channel, and it's not Trader Bob. It's something else, and I don't know. I can't remember what it is. And even if I did, I wouldn't give him the air of my breath, because he doesn't deserve to get that attention. But this, shall we call him Trader Bob? Trader Bob never loses, ever. Always knows exactly what's going on. It's incredible. But is that your role model? Is that who we're supposed to learn from, the person that never loses? Are we supposed to learn from the person who talks over a chart that has already happened? I can do that as well. Okay, yeah, so we have a bull close here, but it's within a trading range, so therefore we should sell short here. All right, I'm selling short, now I'm selling more. So now we're coming down to low end here, and because this is a trading range, there's absolutely no way that this is going to go any further. Or it went a little bit further, but I'm just going to buy some more, doubling up on my losing position. Yeah, now it's going back up again. Absolutely, we should take our profits here, because there's no chance this is going any further. But who does that help? Nobody. Nobody benefits from that, except the guy selling courses or generating YouTube videos, revenues, or whatever. So here we have a school run set up from an insight bar. And this is going to be an interesting one for me because I have decided that I'm not going to take the traditional school run. But on the other hand, I'm not really inclined to just bet against the momentum either. So now I'm thinking, well, had I taken a school run, I would have been 50 points in profit, which wouldn't have been bad. But are we simply going down to test the overnight range? Bear in mind that bar 2 is an inside bar. Oh, is it? Is bar 2 actually an inside bar? 489 low? Oh my God, it isn't actually. But it's so marginal that for all intents and purposes it is. So to the person who is talking about this auction and whatever language they're using, and with the greatest respect for them, you're trading below an area of liquidity, and you can put your own spin on it. I appreciate that. Who wants to use the same old language if you can make it sound more interesting by inventing your own language? Fair enough. But the evidence is quite clear that when you have an inside bar, the odds of a big push lower is slim. But what I would do here, if I was that person spoke about a moment ago, what you could do is you could say, well, the break point is 486. If we close inside there, or we close above this low bar, well, then maybe you have a long entry. Interesting to see how the NASDAQ is doing very, very little. I want to move the stop loss up significantly, so I'm going to move it up to about 652. I prefer to trade these markets here, ladies and gentlemen, the ones that are just grinding. It's not a huge position, 180 lots, but it's just grinding, isn't it? It's just slowly making its way up there, wherever that is. Okay, so this is what I mean. And you probably think I'm making this up. Yeah, you will think I'm making this up. So this is a question that I have received right now. It says, are you not afraid of fixed volume range profile having the POC and entire fair value price under the US 100 positions? But I guess guess not. I guess I don't. Are you not afraid of fixed volume range profile having the POC? The no, disengage. Stand by in the Dow, please. I am buying the Dow here. In South African sport, POC stands for player of color. Well, probably not here. Oh, okay, somebody can tell me. It's the point of control of the fixed range volume profile. I don't know what the range he means to. Right, thank you. Guys, you are so good at these things. He's talking about the volume of the opening range and point of control of the opening range to get a better feel who has control in the opening range. Okay. I'm adding to my Dow. I've been stopped out of the NASDAQ. So somebody has. How can you even trade like that? I have really no idea. Hey, there you go. Good luck to. There you go. I'm adding to my FTSE again. Sorry, I'm not actually posting the FTSE. Do you know what's really interesting for me is that some of the best and the wisest traders, like the likes that made fortunes, they were trend followers. That's what they did. They just pressed the trend when it was there. So the Dow is still range bound, but bar 10 is a fairly decisive bar. But considering the kind of environment that we have been trading in all day in Europe, I wouldn't be too optimistic about that necessarily resulting in a follow through immediately. And I might be wrong. And I have, of course, added to it, but that's just out of habit. That's what I do. So every time the FTSE prints a negative bar, I buy more. Okay. So there is strength in the Dow now. Well, that's perhaps a little much. That's a little rich, but we seem to be pushing higher. So maybe the bears got their fill, or maybe, just maybe, it's a trap. Tough to say. We are sat right in the middle of the range. Okay, so somebody, the same guy who was doing the VWAP, he's saying, I made $2,000 in the morning on the German and now 1,300 on the NASDAQ. It's very strange to me that you have not used this concept and not using VWAP. I first heard of volume weighted VWAP stands for volume weighted average price. The idea is that the price will be in a trading range and you divide that up into the amount of contracts that are traded, and somehow you derive at a average price based on the volume. So say, for example, there was 100 contracts traded at 10 and another 100 contracts traded at 20. Well, then the VWAP is going to be 15. So that's the idea. And we had a bunch of VWAP traders in our office, none of whom are trading anymore. Why? Is it because VWAP all of a sudden is not working? Of course not. It's got nothing to do with that, but it's got everything to do with the nature of trading. You obviously need to have a good technique, but VWAP doesn't work in every single trading environment, just as well as moving average crossover doesn't work in every single trading environment. When you look at the very nature, and please listen carefully if you at all want to learn from somebody who has been through the mill more than once, and as they say, this is not my first rodeo. When you look at the very nature of indicators, well, then what you're dealing with is that, say, oscillators, they work beautifully in range bound, and moving averages, great for trend, or maybe even pullback to trend. But there's nothing that has been invented that works for both kind of environments. And that's where price action comes in. You simply learn to read the market and you try to derive an idea of what the market wants to do. So if you're really good at one kind of market, be it trending or trading range, well, that's half the story. The other half is that we still need to be able to trade the other environment, or at least have the good grace of standing aside when the market is perhaps playing to the hand that we're not strong at. Okay, something is going on. I got stopped out of one. Interesting, it's not happening in the NASDAQ, not that I could see. Just the Dow. No idea what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's going to cost me much, very much, but no idea what happened. There you go. That must have cost me, what, $6,000. I have no idea what caused it. Okay. So seems as if this is related to the ceasefire is over. So there you go. Tough environment to trade in, I'm afraid. I think this just cost me $8,000. Damn. Damn. So the ceasefire is over. I don't think I could have done anything different. So the opposite, sorry, the message here is the Islamic Republic of Iran has asked us to continue talks, but they put talks in, apostrophes. What do you call that? No, don't know what that's called. Situational signs, quote unquote, is what I guess it's called. We have agreed to do so, but the United States has stated to them in no uncertain terms that the ceasefire is over its capital letters. Thank you for attention, blah de blah. So I think the market is probably just trying to find its bearings now. I'm getting some messages in that I can't post. They're rather obscene, somewhat upset with a certain president somewhere. It's very sweet. I do feel the same way, but I just don't want to. I don't want to expend energy on being angry. I'd rather just expend energy on making it back. Stand by on the Dow, please. I'm buying the Dow here, betting on new highs on the day. Probably, I actually wanted to buy it at 504. I hesitated a second and now I bought at 19. I think it's very likely we're going to go up and make new highs. So my original entry was at 504. That's why I wanted to be a buyer again. Didn't get that. you'll notice that the NASDAQ is much more hesitant. So after a new spike like this, there may need to be some adjustment period. But it feels to me as if the Dow is much more ready to push higher than, say, the NASDAQ. Just so you know, and I haven't announced it, I just bought the FTSE here. Big spike down, obviously. And like the Dow, thinking that this is probably going to make its way higher. Sorry about that. It's I clicked and it just caught a point or two. So I bought it at 91. It's actually 92, and it's already at 95. Yeah, this has certainly dampened the mood of the market, I would say. Range bound, for sure. I'm not going to be in a rush to add to the FTSE. People are saying happy weekend. So if you're leaving me here, yeah, have a lovely weekend. Well, obviously I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but it just feels as if the market wants to push higher. I guess it's easy pickings for the bears just to sell short at the top of the range, and respect to them for that. If you want me to dissect the chart, let's do it. Bar 13 is a news bar. Okay. We flushed out a lot of longs, and now the market is finding its feet. The shorts are trapped as well. The longs were decimated, but yet somehow we're settling at the top of the range. So who's going to have the upper hand here? Well, my money is on the bulls. They were already winning before this news spike. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to be a conspiracy theorist, but it might be up here that Donald Trump thought, yeah, I want to be long as well, but I'm not buying at these prices. I'm just going to put some orders in down here, and then I'm going to go and say something that everybody knew anyway. Okay. I am saying this with tongue in cheek. I am not accusing your president of insider trading, which, by the way, he is apparently legally allowed to perpetrate anyway. So, there's no insinuating because he's allowed to do it. NASDAQ, though, has established a body trading range. Body here. And we're breaking below that. FTSE closes in 25 minutes. I'm going to take my profit in the FTSE here. Close the FTSE. if you ever sit and watch a chart and you see a big spike like this, and then a big comeback, and then you're seeing the candles, the bars, narrow down to bar 17, it tells us that there is just this, hey, let's just wait and see. But yes, I am thinking, are we going to see a retest of 13 low? Is that what this is about? Nasdaq is certainly acting weaker than the Dow is. So the question here is the Nasdaq along here because we're down at the free low? I think it might be. I'm placing a buy order on the Nasdaq at 72. And I'm doubling up on my position in the Dow. It's going to be a tight stop loss, but I am doubling up. Gonna have to have a very tight stop loss. I'll put a stop loss here below 15. Not sure why I didn't get a fill there. Oh. But what I don't want to see is the Dow trade below 75 again. I'm beginning to think that the FTSE needs to be shorted now. You have just look at how tight the range is now in the NASDAQ, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be with you in 30 seconds. 1 sec. 30 seconds. I want to put the stop loss sort of, you know, close. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ease off on this position. Oops. I'm taking a loss on that. Or should I just try it? I just feel as if I am being lured into a market that doesn't really want to do anything. If I can just see, if I can see that opportunity where I would add to it, I probably won't add to it, but then I can see, yeah, okay, now I'm on to something, right? But with both of them being in the red, come on down. Do you know what I want to look at? I want to look at the, I see that the NASDAQ actually did do. So, S&P 500, I don't trade it very often, at least not with you. See the S&P is More like the NASDAQ. Yes, so now my impulse brain is saying, yeah, add to it. I won't add to it, but this is good news. This is Donnie and his friends. They're buying now, ladies and gentlemen. Get in while you can, because he's going to post a tweet shortly saying there has never been a better time to buy than now. You know, not until, of course, he's filled his boots. But then is the best time to fill your boots. The idea of being a buyer down here, and I had an order down there that I cancelled. Do I regret cancelling it? No, not at all, because I felt that it was uncertain to add to my risk when I already had two positions that were underwater. The fact that it worked out, well, that's immaterial. Please stop me from adding to this position. You probably saw that I had a position in the FTSE. I didn't want to tell you about it, and I still don't want to tell you about it. It's just that it just looked to me as if the FTSE was just dancing to a different tune. So 20 is a decent bull candle after testing the low end of the range. Come on, Dow. Is it okay that I cheer on it? What we need is we need Joel Osteen. That's what we need. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my Joel Osteen voice on, but Not really feeling it today. It's just this Texas brawl. I haven't really got it. I haven't got Joel Osteen in me today. God bless you. It's great to be with you today. I hope to stay connected with you during our sermon. And if you just leave your credit card on the way out, we'll make sure we swipe that. Now today we're going to pray for the Dow. The Dow needs our help. God bless you, America. Fucking hell. This is what happens when you live in 40 degrees heat and the air conditioner is sketchy and there's a building site outside. And you've just been clobbered by Donald Trump on a tweet. It pulls a number on you. All right. Well, seems that Joel is doing the trick. Come on, Joel. Do your magic. Say it like you mean it. We're going up. Hallelujah. Here's to the Dow. It's a blessing. It's got to go higher. Say it like you mean it and swipe your credit card on the way out. We even got contactless, so you don't need to touch anything. You know, just in case you get close to some of those paupers that you don't want to be around. Although we are all equal in the eyes of God, but you know, it's just some of us have got a little more sway than others. Yeehaw. I'm adding to the Dow. Go, my son. Go forth. Explore new horizons. God is with you. Especially if you can go up to the old highs. I'd be really appreciative of this. I predict a riot. Come on. I'm adding to the Dow again. Not quite making back what I lost, but we're getting there. Man, it's impossible to draw target basis on this. I'm just going to go with, we're hoping that we're going to see new highs. I could use that victory before the weekend. Damn. I'm buying the NASDAQ as well. Bugger. I think my profits are rapidly disappearing. Yes, they are. Fuck. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. So let's hope that this is just a retest of the breakout area. 22 was a breakout. So let's hope that 23 is retesting it, and we're going to see new highs. Lovely. I should probably begin to consider taking some profits. All right, so let's push the NASDAQ for new highs. So closed a lot of my Dow. And just turning my attention to the NASDAQ for a bit. And then I think I am more or less done. Closing the NASDAQ. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I made all of it back from the Donald Trump tweet, but I certainly made a fair bit back. Well, I think that's it for me today. I will post have a wonderful weekend all, and I will see you next week. I will let this run. We'll see what we can come up with. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Do you have any questions for me? Let me know now, and I'll answer it in the next couple of minutes. Okay, so let's see. Wow, okay, so, wow, that is a fucking lot of messages. Okay. Not really sure you guys understand what a trader's mindset is. Okay, feedback. Hey Tom, I'm sharing this with you and trust you'll take it in good faith. Sure. Close to the start of your stream this year, you lost big and fought back, literally showing us that the biggest loser wins. It is not the biggest loser wins, it's the best loser wins. Shortly before you went to Macau, you had another bad day and made more than 10,000. I think it was that was impressive. Okay. I'm of the opinion that when you lose, you get in the zone and manage to dig deep. You're right. When I do lose, I get in the zone. Today a lot about a lot of learning. Okay, yeah, right. Well, you can't really blame me for trading. We streamed for 2 hours this morning, and I was just working. It's what I do, and so I traded. I don't think that it makes any difference to you whether I make money or lose money behind the scene. And I certainly know that I can't stream for 16 hours a day. Then the reality is that the account balance now should be considerably higher because I've lost quite a lot behind the scenes, and then I made it back with you. But I'm sort of thinking, well, I'm not really sure what. So what is it? I do hope that your track on when you're tracking, you compare performance. Well, is it really so important, WH, whether I am up or down to you? You see me trade every day, mostly, and I'm imagining that if you think that you didn't have anything to learn from me, you wouldn't be here. Whether I am up 40% or 50% or 100%, is it really that important to you? I'm not trading your money, and you have to trade your way. Yeah, I'm aware that I'm many people's role model, and I live up to that. I walk the walk. I do what very few people actually do. I trade live, and I am not ashamed when I lose. I don't hide the losses. So I'm not sure what the feedback is, but I do appreciate you writing. But I also know that I am okay, let me just see. I think there was a response to it. It's not about the cancer, it's about watching you fight back. And so what you're saying here is, WH, now I get it. What you're saying is that you enjoy when I'm losing money because then I get angry and then I fight to make it back. That's what you're saying. Yes, I get it. That's the learning. I get it. Now, thank you for spelling it out to me. That's a very valid point. Okay, I will take that into consideration, WH. It's a very good feedback. Thank you. I guess it's just WH. I think it's called adrenaline and anger. I think it's like, no, this is not happening. All right, my friend Peter is sending me. I have a question for you. Okay, so so Peter is a longtime friend, and he's just asked me, I have a question for you. Why are no bridges called Chuck Norris? Well, Peter, the same reason why no streets are called Chuck Norris, because no one dares cross Chuck Norris. Because no one crosses Chuck Norris. Oh, yeah. What a legend he was. Okay, there's a few more questions. I have been playing around with the DAX data you sent and various AI tools all weekend. Okay. Okay, maybe that was the wrong message. How are you able to trade a size when you seriously have traded much, much bigger? Really struggling with that. I don't know. You just, this is my job. Daniel, maybe I don't understand. How are you able to trade a size, when you seriously have traded much, much bigger? Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. Well, I quite enjoy just growing this account, and, truth be told, I'm also trading a significantly bigger account behind the scenes. But it's a very different trading style, and perhaps not one that I necessarily want to show you. Not that I have anything to hide, but perhaps every now and then I may do something that I don't want people to see, like adding a little bit to a losing trade. Not a lot, but just a little bit, Please don't tell that to anybody. Hi, Tom. When you leave the charts, what were you focusing on when you were unprofitable? When you leave the chart, how did you know you were doing the right thing to move in the right? Oh, that's a good question. Well, Marcus, what you do is you make a game plan for yourself, such as I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. and I'm going to practice price action on a simulator from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. That way I'm clocking up a good 20 hours of practice every single day. That's the kind of dedication that you that you do. And Marcus, also to you, please stop comparing yourself to others. You know, the comparison is thief of joy. There's some truth in that, but there's also some not truth in it. It is a thief of your joy if you compare yourself to your neighbor. Your neighbor being your fellow trader or another YouTuber or whatever it may be, because it's smoke and mirror. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Or you can do, which is of far more significance, is compare yourself to you, the version you were yesterday. That is a powerful measuring matrix. And be patient. It will take some time for the mind to create that adaptation that you're looking for. But it will get there if you persist. Okay. You're welcome, Andre. Great session, crazy mindset strength. Don't give me so much credit. It's just I don't like losing, but on the other hand, I know that sometimes we just gotta be bold and keep at it. Konstantin is asking me, how far into the right do you need to be to feel confident to add? It's not so much about how much I'm in profit. It's more to do with, do I feel momentum is gaining traction? And I guess reading momentum is just something that comes with time and practice. Shiband is saying, when such indecision happens like we see today in the Dow, how does your intuition say where it is headed most likely? Well, that's a good question. I think that if we're looking at the chart, obviously bar number 13 is a cataclysmic bar driven by a news item. But then 14 and 15 recovers completely. But then comes the waiting game. And that waiting game can be painful. 16 to 19, it may not seem like a lot when we're doing our bar charts, when we're doing our research, but that's still 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then bar 20, 25 minutes. And sitting waiting for 25 minutes, the mind can think a lot of thoughts in 25 minutes. And I think many of those thoughts are probably not entirely supportive of your position, because when you are running a position, you are doing something that your inner compass, your DNA doesn't want you to. It doesn't want you to trade. It wants you to be safe. It wants you to travel down the path of least resistance. When I was in Macau, do you know how I know that I'm unique? And I am not saying that from the point of view of a Donald Trump's vantage point of, oh, I'm so fucking great that I am God's gift to mankind. But you know that you are unique when in a hotel with 1,000 rooms that was fully occupied, with a gym that's open 24 hours a day. How many rooms does the Grand Lisboa Palace have? Let's see. The Grand Lisboa features 1,350 guest rooms. That's where I've just been. Actually, that's not true. The entire resort complex actually houses a total of roughly 1,900. And so I went to the gym. For the 4 days that I was there, I went to the gym. And for the first 2 hours, I was there by myself. Every day, I was there by myself. Who do you think walked in at number 2? That's right, Al Brooks. I was there at 4 a.m. and I worked till 7 a.m. Al Brooks came in at 6 a.m. and he left at 7 a.m. So we usually left at the same time, or I left a little bit after him. 1,900 rooms, and say that there's on average 1.5 guests in each. That's a hotel with 3,000 people. No one is in that gym. Now, I'm not saying that the gym is the be-all, end-all. But if you make a decision in life that you're going to outwork everybody, it doesn't take that much, because most people are fundamentally lazy. I think that's enough for me today. I see that there's many more questions, and I appreciate. Somebody's asking me if they can copy trade me. I said, nope, they can't. I don't necessarily believe that you can improve your performance by 1% a day. Improvement of performance is not linear. The mind needs to go through a phase of adaptation. It doesn't matter whether it's doing push-up, pull-ups, or chart analysis, or increasing your trading size. It's not a linear progress. It's keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Whoa, all of a sudden it worked. So there you go. Final question here, a guy called Victor. Can you check my last message? What is your last message? Hello, Tom. Do you know when the book might be translated into Bulgarian? I think it's already there, or it's being done now. Right. Well, look, I am long the Dow, and right now it's not looking great, but it's still, we're just retesting that 23 low. So I wonder if we're just establishing another higher trading range. Have a wonderful weekend. I don't know how long we streamed today. More than 2 hours, I think. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. It's wonderful to share this space with you, and I'll see you next week. Andy is on a well-deserved break. He helped me out this week, and I'm doing all of next week. Lots of love. Stay strong. Never give up. Bye-bye.